I found you. I think you must have come up on my algorithm based upon something a friend of mine sent me about a product manager that you probably have seen on Instagram. And you came up in my algorithm. So I checked out you. I checked out the person that your mentor. I checked out Lori because I had a really good feeling about it because I have come from a QA background. Um,
Gotcha.
I was a QA manager earlier in the early 2000s. So in a compliance and then I was doing everything in all the roles that I've worked. So I mean, I took the course and I started in June. And my goal was actually to get something by the end of March because I knew I was going to have to go back into the office in March. And I mentioned on another call, I was going to be protected for 2 years, where if I had to go back in, I would still be protected politically, but I didn't feel comfortable with that. And so and I also took the live project management course that you had.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that really put everything into place because then I could say, I've done this and speak the language. This is what I've done and this is what I've done. So that really brought all the pieces together. And then I think that was finished at the end of November. So my goal was to put my resume in the market for December, and I didn't stress about whatever the time frame, because again, my time frame was March. So I got my resume together and I was really proud of the fact that I didn't hire Lori to get my resume together. I used the Resi AI and then just sent it to an editor to to proof it. And then I did hire Lori to help me with the mock interviews, but we'll just say I put my resume on the market on Dice like December 15th. And I got so many calls, I kid you not, every day that I literally just ignored the calls because I couldn't do my work if I took all of the calls. So I probably submitted to about 10 jobs one day on Dice when I had some time. But other than that, I mean, I probably had 50 emails every day, and I might respond to one or two recruiters again because I didn't have time. So I had my first interview with on January the 4th. And that one I had mentioned in another call, they really wanted 4 people to do the job, one person to do the job of 4. And then I hired Lori to prep me with the mock interview and also to prep me for that interview. And then after that, I had another interview, I think the 3rd week in January, for a back-end tester. And I guess they just liked my resume, supposedly, although I said I just had front end, testing on the front end.
Yeah.
And then that's when the last week of January was when I had 2 interviews that I had mentioned to you for 2 separate roles with the well-known convenience chain. And 2 on one day. And they were learning experiences. And we'll just say, based upon my experience with that company, the people, I would not be interested in working with that convenience store just from my interview with the 2 people that I interviewed. And then later on that week, I had another interview that had 2 on Monday. And then I had 1 interview on Wednesday, which was with Experian, the credit reporting bureau. And that was for a manual QA position. That one was better. Again, I hired Lori 2 times to prep me for my 7-Eleven interviews and then to prep me for my interview with Experian, and then prep me for the interview for the position with the insurance company that they hired me for. But that insurance company, their job description was literally 4 sentences. They wanted you to know basically, Smart Bear technology, which I went and took a trial course. and learned all that I could, played around in it, signed up for their academy. And so I was prepared for that interview. And I had one interview, and then the recruiter was calling me every day to make sure I hadn't taken another job offer. And I interviewed with them. I interviewed with them on the Thursday. The HR manager, it was a great interview. It was really human. The recruiter had told me this company really hires based upon how they think you'll fit with their culture. And then I interviewed with the two people that I would be reporting to, and then two other people on Thursday. And then the recruiter called me on Friday morning and said, they want to offer you, they want to go with you. And the HR manager will be in the, and then he said, can you send me your references? And I sent him my references. And then he left my references, let them know, can you respond to me ASAP? Because we want to get this verified by, I think, 2 p.m. Eastern time. My references
they wanted that fast.
Yeah. And then he told me then, he says on Monday, he says the HR manager goes into the office on Monday, and she will call you on Monday so that she can send you the documents for the background check. So when that happened, and I wouldn't suggest people do this, but when that happened on Friday after that, I put in my 2 weeks resignation because I had more than enough vacation time. And my treat to myself was when my job offer that I secured through your program, I was going to go to Brooklyn, New York for the weekend. So I quit on Monday. She called me. I sent her whatever she sent me a link. They did my background check. That came back right away. And then I started with them on this Tuesday, the 21st. It's a completely remote role.
Oh, you started? I didn't realize it.
Yeah, so I started on Tuesday. So Tuesday of this week. Yep.
How is it? Let's dive into that.
It's a totally different domain. Everybody, when I tell you, everybody seems really nice, and a lot of they have, and I'm 52. So everybody seems really nice. The company has people of different age ranges, different cultural background, a lot of diversity. They also have offices in Europe, in Singapore, in London. They have offices outside of the US, and they have their own internal system where I'm checking their, testing their insurance data that updates every quarter. And I'm like a front end tester where you're testing the application and verifying that all the information in here and the totals and everything works. It's in their own internal program, but they're going to be transitioning to another program. I have 3 weeks vacation, a week sick time. They also have a 401k plan. I have insurance. They already sent me the enrollment for the 401k plan. Like I said, and everybody has been there for a long period of time. And so it seems like a really good, it seems like based upon my experience, my feelings this far, it seems like a really great company where they also encourage you to learn on your own. So you can I have a link already where I want to take additional courses. I can sign up for those courses.
Oh, wow. So I want to dive into a few things because you touched on a few things. One of the things that you touched on was that, first of all, I can't wait to ask you more about, like you've already started talking about it, but I got a few more questions. But one of the things is you actually mentioned your age, which I do have people that ask me, is this possible at a certain age? Then another thing that is that your story is a little different because you actually said that you actually was a QA manager before. So coming from that and then your experience, it doesn't sound like, I believe from when we talked, this really wasn't also like an income per se come up for you, right? It was more of a pivot. So you didn't have to go back into the office. Could you tell us more about that so we can?
And that it was a pivot because so the salary for this role is $75,000. And my previous role for the company that I had been at for the last 4 years was like 73,000 and some change. So
Okay.
it wasn't a come up, it was a pivot. And again, I like when the recruiters were asking me, well, why are you willing to take less? I'm like, if I had to go into my office now, my commute each day would be at least, an hour and a half to get there. And I'm going 17 miles in Dallas, not in LA, but an hour and a half to get there, and probably an hour and a half to get back, maybe an hour. So that saves me 15 hours per week of my own time. So I'd rather be able to work from home. And I told them I'm more than happy to fly into their headquarters once a quarter, even on my own dime. I'm just saying that to you. But so the key thing for
Right.
me was just to have the convenience to work from home and work for a company that at least where I feel like this is a great environment. I'd rather be happier and make less money than be miserable and making more money.
So are we saying like, what is it, like $2,000 less, or
it's about two? So in other words, I was making
okay.
73,000 and some change. I make it's 75, so it's a $2,000 increase.
Okay, so $2,000, but you're no longer having to commute. So far you've been introduced to the company. You feel like it is.
Yes.
You said people have been there long term. So right now it looks like there's some good feeling that you like this should be a long term. Like I don't have to worry about my job type of thing.
Right, because most of the people, my boss has been there for 30 years. Her boss has been there for 30 years. So people have been here a long period of time. And even with this, everybody seems really helpful.
Awesome. So I want to ask you, with having that, because you like, I was a QA manager. I'm like, hold on, I need to ask you some questions. So how do you feel Road to QA re-sparked that, or was able to help you learn again or relearn, or like what do you feel that you got from Road to QA, being that you actually have this experience in your background that most people don't have?
Well, when I saw Road to QA on Instagram, I'm like, I did this shit. I used to do
right.
That was my first thing, is I've done this shit. And then, the testing, and even at where I work, where I was a program manager for a loyalty rewards company, I did the testing for the clients that I managed their programs. I did the tester as if I were the customer. So when there was any upgrades, I logged into my account. I did testing on my app on my phone as that user to make sure it was actually working well, because there were instances where they would say it was working, and then I'd log in on my app on my Android and it's not working, but it's working fine. So I mean, with all of that in all of my roles, I was an implementation manager, operations manager for a software as a service company that was a tech startup. And we had about 23 people. I did manual software testing and troubleshooting for them. Didn't realize that.
Didn't realize. So
yes.
Is it true? So do you feel it's true when I do these webinars and I say, you're already a software tester,
yes.
You just didn't know it. Most people have this experience. They just don't know what to call it. They don't know that it just wasn't their title or their job responsibility, but they probably helped another department, not knowing that they actually have put in work that actually could pay you a higher salary,
yes.
Amazing. So where do you see, so from here, you're making, this is a pivot for you, but it's going to give you your life so you can stay, I'm sure with Sanity, right? Remote, like you said, you don't have to travel. From here, if you want to make more money, now you have reactivated that skill with a combination of all your experience, so you can grow from here. What's next for Sonia after this? Like, how do you think that this is, what's next for you? Or was this just ultimately right now, you just wanted to make sure, like, look, I ain't trying to go in nobody's office right now, so this works.
Oh, no, I mean, in the timing, I had put a goal. My goal was to do this by March 31st. And I said the minimum salary that I would accept, if I had to go in with less money was $75,000 or, comparable. That was it. I mean, Jenny, everything aligned, because when I tell you the company I used to work with, where I had some concerns about it, when I figured the shit was going to hit the fan in March, the shit hit the fan this week. I resigned 2 weeks ago. So, I mean,
are you serious?
Yes. I knew the shit was going to hit, but Yes. So, I mean, just the timing of it all.
Right on time. Ain't it?
Yes.
Always right on time.
Yes, the timing of it, I mean, and everything. And I had written down on a post-it that, worst case scenario, my minimum salary is 75. I'll have a new offer by March 31st. I actually got it before, February. So my goal on this is I have spent a lot of time. So like my son said, I put in the work and I did.
That's right.
I did the time, and fortunately, I was also able to expedite things by being able to afford. Your course is reasonable, and I love that you offer it to me at a very reasonable price point. But being able to have you and Road to QA as my team, and then having Lori that I again found through you.
Yes.
And being able to hire her to prepare me for those interviews instead of maybe dragging it out a little longer and trying to, figure things out on my own. I'm grateful for for introducing me to all of the people that I have used. And so I have enjoyed doing this. So, I mean, I've learned in, SQL on my own. I've taken a course on Postman. Must have about 20 Udemy courses that I paid for. Just to learn enough.
And now you know how to take it to skill yourself, but you also have the idea of how I really transition this,
yes,
over and over again when I learn something new and how I can position it. Right.
And
so
all I can say is thank you.
Oh,
I mean, because I can tell, I know this is a lot of work. And I know you put in a lot of time and a lot of effort that a lot of other programs that probably a little more expensive don't, but I'm hoping that you also offer additional courses on automation and other things, or at least have someone of color that offers this, because my goal in 2022 and 23 was to support as many women businesses of color, primarily women of African American descent. So, I have nothing but good things to say. My son is a plumber, and I told him, you can get another job, you can't get another body. You love what you do, but plumbing has a wear and tear on your body. And so he's watched me go through this course, and he follows you now. He saw one of the testimonials.
Tell him come on.
Yes, and he was like, I was wondering if that was you, Mom. She was talking about. But I mean, for anybody, all I can say, Jenny, is thank you for everything that you've done for me. I mean, I knew, and then once you get started talking to the recruiters, what I had so many people calling me, and again, I position my resume on there as my current role is a software quality assurance manager. And again, my current role is actually a program manager. So it's still similar because I'm managing. Yeah. So I'm hoping that you'll offer, like I said, courses, or, have connect to someone that does, if you don't want to do automation.
The pressure you're putting on me, Sonia, the pressure.
No, I'm not, because I can just see you have a family. It's me. My son is grown now, so it's just me, but you have a family. Your daughter is in her teens. Life happens to all of us. So the fact that you were doing this and trying to live your best life in the Mexico City, and when you go to Dubai and everything else, I'm telling you, if you ever need me for anything, a testimonial, whatever, as long as I don't have to do it on camera.
Right. I'm gonna ask to give you now. In a minute, when we end this, though, I'm gonna turn off the recording and I'm gonna ask for you. I don't know if you're okay with that. If we could, I would love to see you and give you a virtual hug, though, just me and you. So,
sure.
So okay. So I got two more questions for you, if it's okay. So one of the things you said was you did mention your age. Can I ask you, how was that feeling? Because I've had people reach out to me and say, hey, I'm over 40. I'm nervous. I've only worked this job for so many years. How was that, making that decision? Like you said, you felt like your company was going to hit the shit. Like how was that feeling like that you had to really go out and try to find something again? That's my first question. If you can answer that one, then I got one more and that's it.
Okay, well, on my thing, I've always gotten my jobs going in the back door. So this was new in the fact that I got to play the game like everybody else does and submit my resume online. And is it going to take 6 months to a year? And will this work for me? So that was my concern about doing this. It wasn't the age thing at all. I just mentioned the age thing because I think it's important for people who do feel that if I'm older, I might not be as
And by the way, I did not know that was your age, Sonia.
Yeah, I'm 50. Yeah, but I mean, I keep up on my skill sets. I have to. I've always had to. So I keep up on my skills to compete. So my biggest concern was, will this work for me? I knew it was going to work for me, but will it work for me with me submitting my resume through a ATS system in the time frame that I need for it to work? And your system proved that it did work, because I had people calling me, I tell you, every freaking minute for the time. So yeah, on the phone call. So the age was not a factor for me, because I already knew it was just more or less the concern about the right company. And when I had my interview with the company, they didn't ask me a bunch of interview questions. They asked me pretty much, if there's this problem, how are you going to fix it? And I said, well, if I'm looking for something, I said, I normally Google that stuff. And I said, that's the clean version of it. And I mean, and that was it. And I said, whatever it is, I'm going to figure it out and make a way. And you will not know that I walked on glass to get there. So, I mean, it was a really great interview. It wasn't a bunch of interview questions.
And my last question is going to be, how do you feel about the industry? Do you feel like this pivot is worthy enough that you feel that, God forbid, something did happen, or I wasn't here no more? Do you feel like, look, you can move on, do this on your own, you know what to do to keep that paycheck to come the next time around?
Oh yeah, because I mean, I'm already looking I figure in about 4 months, I will probably see if I can do another project on the side.
You don't want to be a Scrum Master? You don't like, you don't like being in the
I've looked into that. That's why, I considered that also. So I'm looking into, and Lori had already said, if you're ready in about 4 months, let me know, and we'll, if you want to get back in the market. So no. And so the good thing is, I know that I now have something that puts me outside of what I currently, or what I used to do, but it's still something that I've done and I always do, and I enjoy it, and I've enjoyed learning about all different. So no, if you decide tomorrow that no, I'm ready to go live my best life somewhere else and let somebody else handle your systems or whatever you need to do, I'm good.
All right. And then what about with the growth of AI and automation? Are you scared in any way that these opportunities won't be here?
No, because I mean, even the company that I work for, a lot of and it's an insurance company, so they have different departments where it is automated, but there's some, like what I do, that part where you physically need to, run a program and a test case to test the formulas, to make sure the numbers are correct before those, the reports are listed on their websites or something. That's all manual.
Awesome. Well, Sonia, thank you so much for your time. I'm not going to hold you up from this, interview and check in. So I hope you guys enjoy the replay of this.